Hi everyone. So the point of today's video is how to get better at drawing or how to get better at a thing through brute force intelligence. So the best way for me to demonstrate, I should probably demonstrate how effective it is by, if you're really, really strong, you get up on stage and you lift really, really heavy weights. So this is going to take all of my concentration for a second, but I promise you I will explain what's going on afterwards. But all this stuff happens entirely inside of my head. So do another one. Do it from a different angle. You'll notice I'm already tilting my head, to kind of get the feel for it. Okay, again. So I'm going to try downwards. Okay, how about from the side? Side's easy. Actually, I do like having frames just because they help me. They help me stay within a scope. So, all right. All of these were done with a very, very simple brush. No pressure control, no line smoothing, just straight out, 1 to 2 lines. And people are probably, and no doubt you guys are wondering, how did I manage this kind of drawing? All right, so when I do a sort of drawing like this is like doing math in your head. Suppose you have an equation, and I'm not good at math in my head. It's like 3 plus 5 times 7 divided by 32. Like, this is something one of my old math teachers, Mr. Ledger, used to do. Yes, Mr. Ledger. Like, the guy's name was Mr. Ledger. He would go, and his classes would win math contests, and he would teach people brute force mathematics, how to perform these computations in their heads. And he would drill you over and over with like the times tables, and at the end of every class, he would bust out one of these like really, really long, simple calculative, arithmetic things. He wouldn't ask you to do any square roots and stuff, but he would drill the students that way, and people would strain to try and follow along. And you know what? Some people could. Some of the students could. Not all of them could, but the ones who were really, really brilliant were able to follow along. I was not one of them. In fact, I would say that I went for calculus twice. Not for his classes. He was an excellent teacher, but I went for calculus twice with another terrible teacher, and failed twice and decided not to try a third time. So let's talk about how to get better at drawing through brute force intelligence. Sounds a bit like an oxymoron, but I think by me relating the story of Mr. Ledger, who would get his students to perform brute force computations. This is kind of part of the key, is that what I'm doing is I'm putting forth a lot of information. I am performing a computation. Much of the information is not written down. You don't have time to write down all of the steps. You do them up here, and you have to train this thing to be able to perform all of these steps. And when I say brute force, I mean that the kinds of exercises that I'm about to show you are are they're when you look at drawing, it's about creating 3D optical illusions. So the exercises are about creating these complex 3D optical illusions, and we're gonna do really, really complex. It's gonna be very, very complex, or I should say, it should start out simple, but we add secondary levels of details, tertiary levels of details, and we subdivide, and all of these things are just there for you to do. They're going to be hard because lifting weights is really hard. You can't get stronger without the lifting of the weights, and so that's why I show you these exercises. Show you this is how I got good. Right here are the weights that I lifted. Obviously, you might want to lift them in a certain order. You would lift the lightest weights, and you graduate to heavier and heavier weights until you get to the point where you can, do the stuff in your head, and everyone's always looking at you and they're saying, "Oh, look how strong you are." So, the first ones that I would always show people, I'm going to go through these really, really rapidly. Like this was the straight line drawing exercise. Okay. And the straight line drawing exercise was one to get people to slow down and do it right, where you draw straight lines, you go out, you hit the line, you come back. And this is to get you to work kind of like a robot. It gets you to move out in a definite path and to always come back to the same spot. Right? It means that you don't do right. You don't do weird crap like that, because what the problem is this: is that you have two motions. You have one motion that goes around the side, one motion which goes out, and then another motion which goes back. So the idea is that you're always visually, you use your eyes to pick a point, and you travel out. You travel out to that point and you stop. Then you visually pick the next point which you want to return to. Right? But the problem is that people they get caught up in this kind of emotion, right? They try to combine movements, they try to skip steps. So the purpose of this exercise is to get you to slow the fuck down. Slow the fuck down, okay? Because that's what sloppy is, right? If you are sloppy, you are skipping steps, you're not doing it right. Okay. Now I know that some people, some special snowflakes might not like the amount of profanity that I use, but it's like if I was trying to show somebody in a factory line how to get something done right, I would be telling them, I don't care how fast you do them, for now, just because you're starting out, you got to slow the fuck down and do it right, because otherwise all this product is damaged and we have to throw it out. All right, this product is damaged, we have to throw it out, we're losing money, we're losing profits. You got to do it right, first and foremost. The speed will come later. And I don't mean that that at my factory we give up methamphetamines, as a reward for working quickly or as a way to keep. But I mean that the actual efficiency of your work will get better later as you work. Okay, here is a variant of that exercise. I should turn off my line smoother. I instinctively do it. All right, so we're going to cut this thing in half. So I'm going to subdivide. And I'm going to, just kind of carefully measure. Subdivide once. I'll subdivide it again. And you have to visually subdivide it, right? You can tell. It's like if your cursor's over here, well, there's a lot more space here than there is, over here than there is here. It doesn't look, correct. So the first thing is that when you're putting those tick marks there, you have to be able to perform visual estimates. All right, next thing. We're going to number these. Number the corners is 0. Then we're going to move clockwise, 1. And we're going to go clockwise again, 2 in the midpoint. It's been a while since I've done this one. Then we do a 3. Okay, slow the fuck down and do it right. Okay, now we're going to start in a corner. We're going to move to the opposing. So we're going to start in a corner down here and move to the opposing side. And we're going to go in sequence. So 0, 1, 2. Just now, I had to actually draw through my hand. 3. Back to 0. 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, 0. That's what it should look like when you've done it right. And you keep doing this over and over again. In fact, if you want, might be a bit of a loop. Let's try 3, 2, 1, 0. 3. Wow. Then I should go back to 2. I've never done it in reverse. This is the first time I've ever done it. Then 1. Then 0. Oh, fuck. So, I mean, part of it looks right. I'm just not quite sure which 0 I go to. I guess I have to go to... That's not the one. How interesting. That's kind of a mindfuck, right? So this is the thing, is that now I'm like, oh, God, now what do I do? What do I do? Okay, well, I know that this 3 here has to go to that 0. Doesn't it? Wow. What a mess up, huh? What a clusterfuck. Let's try that again. Three to that 3. 3, 3, that 2, 2. And I have to go counterclockwise. Right, then 1, 1, 1, then that 0. Ah, that's... No. Oh, wait, hang on. This 1 has to go to that 1. Now we go to that 0. But no, we're still in the same problem. So, holy cow. Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? So 0, 1. So, okay. Oh, right, because that's the problem. I have to go in sequence. There was the fuck up, right? So I have to go from 3, 2, then 1, 0, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 0, 3, 2, 1, 0, and back to 3. Isn't that funny? I was doing like 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2. No, it's not like that. You have to go in the sequence. You have to increment the sequence or it doesn't work. So this is the thing. It was a simple job. I had one job and I fucked it up. All right. I screwed it up. I messed up. Didn't do it right. So I undid it. You do it again. I undid it. I do it again. And you have to fill up pages of these things, mind you, okay? So this is an exercise to get people to slow down and do it right. And also to have a bit of a mental burden, okay? So you have to increase the mental burden that's on your head. And my burden is not a Pokemon, all right? It's BURDEN, not BIRDON, okay? It's not a Pokemon. It means your brain is the thing that has to be lifting the weights, right? So here is another variant. Okay, so a lot of times the way that I work out my exercises and I advance and I get better, I make these exercises more and more difficult, is I create variants. So a variant of the exercise is now to take this thing and turn it into a trapezoid. Yes. It's a trapezoid. Yes, I know, Admiral Akbar. Okay. We're going to do the same thing. 0, 0, 0, 0. And the thing is that going in reverse when I did 3, 2, 1, 0, that was another variant. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 1. This is like faster now. It's like 2. Okay, fantastic. Let's begin now. 2, 3, 0, 1, 2. Ah! 3, 0. Actually, you know what? Start over again, right? So that's the thing, is that again, this is a game. It's a game. It's a little 3, 0, 1. It's a mini game is what this is. Even harder, right? It's like, you notice that my accuracy kind of suffered from that one. And the reason why it suffered was because I'm so used to doing the flat version of this. I've never done this one either. First time on camera doing something like this. That's a variant. All right. So we're increasing. We're just stacking on another weight. And you're like, oh, this is harder. Right? So here's another one. Right. I would show people this exercise, where you have to draw, and it's a horizontal scale of the circle. All right. Now, this one, and then there's the variant where you go in reverse. Okay. People often get this one wrong when they're just starting out. They slide the circle across. They shrink the circle down, and they don't change direction. There are several things that go on. There is the circular motion, then there is the downward loop, loops on the bottom, then there's the letter M, like that. It's a cursive letter M. Then it's a zigzag, like that. It's like an N. Then it's a W, like that. Then it's a top loop, like the letter L for loser. And then finally, circle. Okay? So all of this stuff, all right, that is the transition that you're going through. And so the same thing happens, except that you kind of glue to one edge of the line. All right. So the reason we do these little mental burden exercises is because drawing faces, like drawing up a face like this is hard. This requires a degree of mental burden, right? This is actually a tremendous mental burden. Right? Being able to doodle this stuff out. Or if I draw, let's say a hand, right, something like that. You notice that this is mostly just the volume of the hand. I'm just encapsulating the volume of that hand. Or how about maybe something more like yo, okay? And it actually helps me to hold my other hand out. And oops, hang on. Let me bring this down into range. Okay, yo, let's. Tough because I'm not very comfortable when I'm drawing this. I'm all at should probably make this one a little smaller. All right. So only something you can do, the better you are at it. I'm actually better at heads than I am at hands. Let's try another one. And maybe one where I'm not so comfortable. Or where I'm maybe a little bit more comfortable. Rawr. And maybe I want to zoom in on it, because I don't like doing these things small. I like doing them large. That's the other thing. I'm not actually looking at my hand. I'm simply making the shape. with my hand. I'm like, it's out of the corner of my eye, but it's more for the tactile feel than anything else. And these drawings are very gestural. So it means that when you look at them, you just kind of get a feeling for, which way the hand is configured. You get a feeling for the configuration, and you get a feel for the overall sense of space. All right. So that's an example, right? It's a tremendous mental burden to be able to draw this sort of thing and just do it all in your head. It's a lot easier, and this is why we show people to do the scaffolding, to do the helplines, the guidelines, these kinds of things, because they help you maintain the structure. I can draw hands well if I use the scaffolding. I don't often do this exercise just like this, drawing raw, I suppose. I don't do raw drawings all that often, mostly for faces, but not so much for hands, which means I could get better right here. I could practice more raw drawn hands if I wanted to get to that stage. I don't have time. Haven't had the time lately. So, right. So, again, another variant of that circle drawing exercise, which was the ellipse. So, once again, it's taking the transitions and going around. Oh yeah, and the bloody things, they tilt. They tilt at about a 90. Actually, here you can see the tilt is at a perpendicular. It must be a perpendicular on the major axis. It must be a perpendicular to the central axis, like that. 90 degree tilt. All right, so that's the elliptical donut. That one takes a bunch of other exercise. Variant for the exercise before that, which was, so this one's tough in that you saw that my hand wanted to do that. That's because I'm so used to doing the vertical one. That's the natural tendency. So in this case, I had to be able to scale across that axis. I had to change it up. You can see the hand still wants to do stuff like this. Exercises are test patterns. They can tell you can just look at your own exercise and you can kind of tell where you're going wrong. You can troubleshoot it and you can just keep working at it until you're able to do it. It's like if you look at the radial exercise, right? The radial exercise is a transition. It's a transition that goes all the way around a circle. And when you suddenly realize, oh, I can't see through my hand here and I'm doing a bad job, then what you can do is you can just keep going back and forth over the trouble spot. So this is what I mean by going back and forth over the trouble spot to train yourself, get better in this one difficult area, because my hand's constantly covering that area. Conversely, there's this area. This is the other trouble spot because my hand covers the center now. I'm drawing on a Cintiq, so I physically cannot see through my hands. I don't have X-ray eyeballs, and I'm not irradiating every single person I look at. Okay, so you can work back and forth on the trouble spots. So just like with this exercise here, you can also work on your trouble spots. Oh, kind of. Yeah, I had to change up. I had to change the ellipse, right? So you can go slowly, and yeah, it's gonna look like dog's breakfast and chiseled spam, but that's fine. Like, it's the whole point of this is to just get really, really, it's to break yourself free of your problems. It's like if you have a door, and you open the door, and the door swings open, all of a sudden goes, and then opens again, right? So if you want to what you do is you got to turn the door to that angle that's bad, and you got to crack the rust free. You got to go back and forth, turn the door. It's going to make a hell of a noise. And you want to crack the rust free. I know you can oil the door, but this is just an analogy that I'm trying to talk about, is that through the sweep of the door, right, everything's fine, everything's fine, there's a trouble spot. And you just got to creak it past that point. Creak it past that point and just go back and forth until all the rust is free and the joint moves smoothly again. You know that phrase, right? People say when they're drawing, they haven't drawn for a while, they're rusty. This is how you get rid of the rust. This is how you get through your drawing slumps, too. If you're having a bad day of drawing, get to exercises, man. Hit the gym, the mental gymnastics. Hit the gym and, work at it. At least you've made some progress. You might not have made any, amazing hot drawings or whatever, but you are, by working on the on your exercises, you're working towards all of your future drawings. It's an investment, and at least you can make progress towards all of your other drawings by working on your exercises. All right, here's another variant of the toroid. Right. So remember, I would do, drawing an ellipse like this. We can do something like this. This is another mental gymnastic. It's actually easier to do because you don't have to do that reversal. But then I always go on top of that, and then I use this as a guide. Wireframe. Okay, then how about this? We choose one point, another point here. So this is the far, that's near. Giving the thing a core. All right. Another really good exercise. And you can do these with different poles. Choose different poles every single time. Like a nipple. Nipple. Okay. Right now I'm purposely adjusting the line weight or thickness. And you'll see how I make the pitch of the screw much tighter towards the faraway point. So this means that you purposely make your screw very, very tight here, and then you go very, very lax, very wide on the ones that are closer. So more violent when you're on the close side of things. And so change it up. Do some that are at extreme points like this as well. So, right. Always try to change it up. Do a variety of them. Here, you can start with a sphere like this. This is doing another variant. And just coat the thing in dots. Put more dots towards the edge, right? So this starts to look more like this part is facing you. It's a sphere. And we're going to distribute the dots, right? So that they're more on the outside and less on the inside. This is just to work out spacing as a way to enhance the optical illusion. Now I can add a sphere. Maybe I'll have one sphere that's on the edge like that. And then another sphere. And then another sphere. I'm using that as the pole, right? So this is a way to get through your natural tendency to put the poles in the places that you're used to. That the mind likes to take the easy way out. The exercise is to just grab your brain and force it. You flabby brain, you bad flabby brain. I'm going to force you to do some work, do your work, and get stronger. Whole point of a mental exercise, to strengthen your mind. Give your mind a little bit of brute force, right? Let your mind be able to leverage this stuff. You improve your mind, you can use your mind as a tool. All right? If you can't use your mind as a tool, then you are the tool, okay? You don't want to be a tool. Okay? Yes, that's right. That's the main takeaway of this. The whole takeaway of my series. Don't be a tool. Actually, when you think about it, if you're a tool, then you're easy to use. Don't be a person who gets used, okay? Don't be a tool. The mind should be your tool. This will probably make you instantly better at drawing tits. Okay. Again, that is, the exercise. And you start to deal with the tilt. You start to deal with all the different angles, all the transitions, a range of things. And this is the thing that strengthens you, right? You can get better and better. I'm not telling you to do all of these in one day, all right? Bruce Lee had a really, really great phrase. He says, I don't fear the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks. I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. All right? I'm showing you a variety of, they're not really, no wait, all these are ellipse exercises. They're all ellipse exercises. They're just different forms of that ellipse. And the thing is that this is how to perform, all these are all the different kicks. Each one of these exercises is a different kick. So, there's kicks and there's punches and there's, karate chops, whatever. But these are all different kicks. And so you have to take one of these exercises and fill an entire page. Just do a whole page of them. Do them until you're sick of them. Do them until until you reach the point where you're like, I could not possibly make this any better. I've reached the limits of my human meat machinery. Okay, fine. And as long as you can do it without thinking about it, great. Then you put a variant on it, right? You stack it up and you make it a little bit harder. And then you get stronger, right? So that's the thing, is that you want to be able to practice your kicks, but practice the same kick for a really, really, really long time to get it down and be comfortable with it and be able to do it without really thinking too hard about it. If you can get to the point where you can doodle these things and be yakking like I have been, like when I do this and I'm talking about what I'm doing. So this means that I have it to the point where I can compartmentalize my thought, meaning that it's no longer sitting in my conscious. It's no longer taking up the conscious part of my brain. It's all processing in the background. It's a background process in the subconscious, right? So, when you get it to that point, great, move on. Do another one. You can return to exercises too if you ever feel, you're just kind of at a slump and you just need to get better at that one thing. All right. What else? Right. Variant. Another variant. So actually here, I just zoom in. I could start another page. But I actually feel really good whenever I see a page full of exercises. So here's the variant. So variant is, I'm going to cover this thing. Sure, let them overlap. So be it. Right? Everyone's always having problems with drawing in perspective. Hey, guess what this is? Guess what these exercises are? They're drawing in perspective. And it's not getting you to, it's focused, right? This is just pure ellipse drawing. All right. And then we can start choosing one of the circles. and extruding upwards, or outwards, I should say. An extrusion. If you haven't worked out how you're going to hold the stylus by now, then the way you hold your pen and the way that you move, it's like when you're lifting weights, you have to have the proper form of lifting weights. If you try to lift the weight the wrong way by using other muscles that you're not supposed to use and by trying to take easy ways out, then you just induce training scars. You probably don't get as much of a workout as you could, and you could injure yourself, right? And you get bad habits. It builds up bad habits. This is the whole point of an exercise, is to build good habits, not bad habits. And if you try to take the easy way out and do things the way you think are instinctively easy to you, then you're not making any progress, right? It means you're just reinforcing your stagnation. You reinforce your stagnated, you're reinforcing your current level of ability, which is suck, right? Your current level of ability is sad trombone, can't draw in perspective, how lame, right? Don't reinforce the bad. Don't reinforce your current level of ability. You want to reinforce the good. You want to reinforce a better level of ability. So, we look at this, I think. Let's try to oh, dang it. I turned too fast, the problem. Neat. So this is like trying to take a parallelogram. Right, it's like the side of a box. We're going to go down. Is that correct? I don't know if that's correct. It doesn't look correct. Ah, this is where I should have. There we go. Ah, looks better. Yeah, there we go. So this, right? This is a flip over, right? Part where the circle goes edge on like that, and then it goes over. So that's the flip over point. This is where you have to do the whole. And this is the thing, right? It's like I take these exercises apart. I can see that these are L's like this, right? It's an L. Then I have to turn it into an N, right? Then I have to turn it into M and then L. Okay, so I see what's happening. So that has to happen. Then this has to happen. And then finally I can go down. So we draw the letter L, zigzag, and deal with the tilt at the same time. So I'm just looking at this top part here. So L. Right. I mean, I've done this exercise as a toroid before. I've never done it as a parallelogram. So, it's just... And I have to do it where it's perpendicular to the line as well. Right, better. Okay, so what's happening over here? Right, so this is me taking apart the transition. This is the transition from this angle to that angle. Now what's happening? Well, I know that I have to go to this. I'm going from this. That means that's the shape. Then I have to do that. Okay, so Okay, so that means that the curve sticks on the inside, and I'm drawing that kind of shape. All right, and again, I have to continue stressing the fact that I have to stay 90 degrees, 90 degree, 90 degree. Whoops. Yeah, that one's 90 degrees right there. So I'm looking at these are the angles of the major ellipses, right? That has to be parallel to that part. Now I have to turn it like a turnip. Okay, I'm going to try a variant of this. I'm going to vary the exercise. Instead of going through the central axis, I'll use this as the turning point. So that's what I'm doing now. Oh, much easier. And this is how you get better at the exercise. You start to realize, oh, this is how I should do it. You start realizing that, you make a realization that you've been doing it wrong and that there's an easier, better way that gets you better results. All right, so in this case, I'm now using the line as the turning axis as opposed to doing a central axis, because here you can see the circles are colliding through each other. It doesn't look as good. But this is much, much better. Right? I mean, you're at the gym. When you're working out of the gym, it's not necessarily going to be all thrills and chills. And in fact, I think that the circle, right? So if I were to take a square and do that, right? That's where we imagine like taking a piece of paper or a card and sliding that along one of these axes, and then again this card needs to be. That's the axis like that, so right, we have to slide the ellipse along that point. So let's do this again. So I actually do have to kind of go slightly in. I have to intrude in on that line a bit, not just on the line. So again, I've advanced my understanding of this exercise to the point where now I see it more in it's much more dimensional now. Like it really feels like a rail now. Right? How you get better at a thing. Do it again. You do it again. You do it again. And you got to keep your eyes open. You got to analyze what's going on, and you have to revise and change and change and change. That's the whole point. You have to change. You have to change. The whole reason why you want to do an exercise is because you want to get better. And part of getting better means changing. It means you're going to be different by the end of it. Hopefully better. And I can't be there. I can't be there to show everyone. I can't be there to solve all your problems. There's the number of problems that are out there are limitless. I'll never have enough time. I'll never have enough time to show everybody how to deal with all these problems. You have to develop some self-sufficiency. You have to not just, do these exercises and get through all. Like, I think a lot of people are just too used to following instructions. And following instructions to the letter and not doing any critical thinking of those instructions. Not doing any analysis of those instructions. You have to look at what those instructions are trying to accomplish. Look at what the instructions are trying to accomplish and assume that the instructions may possibly, not saying that they are, but they may possibly be inaccurate or incomplete. Or that they could be improved upon in some way. So the exercise that I set forth was to draw the ellipses around that parallel pathway, parallelogram pathway. That was the instruction, but there's still lots and lots of other things along the way to be found out. And you're seeing how I'm advancing this. All right, let's keep on going. Let's take one of these parallelogram pathways Oops. And draw another one right next to it. Okay, now it's a box. Let's do the same exercise with that box in there. Maybe it will help me. Yep, it did. The reason why is because now it looks three-dimensional and my specialized organ for sensing 3 dimensions has kicked in. And I don't have to think so hard about this. I just used the word hard and organ in the same sentence. Okay. Look how much better it is. Look how much better it is. It's much more uniform. All right. More of this mental brute force crap. I'm going to take... Let's draw another donut. Donuts. Okay. And this is the overlay. So this is not the exercise, but this is the overlay of the form that I want to draw. Let me just change the color of that thing. Okay. And yeah, that'll do. And I'll just knock back the opacity by a bit. You can still see that, right? Okay, good. So I'm going to perform subdivisions. So let's divide that in half. So this is a horizontal subdivision. I'm just going to go around this whole thing and just split that up in half, split it up in half again. Subdivide, subdivide, subdivide. And notice that I have to draw these slightly outwards, right? Because you can see it's a bit of perspective. Foreshortening, it gets closer. Right, and you can draw your dots to be big, smaller, smaller, smaller. All right, space that over. So I'm just kind of like, these are giant dots. They're like raisins. Raisins. C'est la raison d'être. Not the same thing. Right. Okay, good. So, right. So remember that other exercise that I did, the one with the big square, and we did the subdivision stuff. Well, we're going to do something similar. Except in this case, I have to go up. Okay, so I got to go up, then around, then inside, then down, then around. So whenever you're on an outside path, you got to go around, then up, then around, then inside, then around, then down, then around, then out, then around, then up, then around, then inside, then around, down, then around, then I go and down. So out, then around, then up, then around, then in, then around, then down, then around, then out, then around, then up, then around, then in, then around, then down, then around, then out, then around, then up. So that's what you're doing. You see how I'm taking my brain and having to change which plane. It's an alternation of going up, then around, then in, then around, then down, then around, then out, then around, then. So you're drawing this square cross section, but you're constantly shifting forward at the same time. Okay, so that's done with the scaffolding. Then you got to get rid of it. Gone. Do it again. I'm going to start on the inside this time. So I'm going to start with around, then up, then around, then out, then around, then down, then around, then, oh God. That's right. I have to go around, then in, then around. So actually here, let me, let's start on a new page because I want to draw this bigger. So, all right, here we go again. I'm going to start outside this time. So around, up, around, in, around, down, around, out, then around, up, around, in, around, down, around, out, around, up, around, in, around, oh god, down, around, out, around, up, around, in, around, down, around, out, around, up, around, in, around, down, around, holy cow, out, up, around, in, around, down, around. And look, you can start to see, right? You're starting to see that donut shape forming. Remember how I was saying, right? This is gradually how we get to that point where we're drawing the hand. Right? This is what I'm doing. So I go around, up, over, right, down. We do the fingernail, out, around, up. This is the road. This is the roadmap, right? These are all the skills. These are, or not all of them, but these are some of the skills that are used in doing stuff like this, in working without an underdrawing, because the underdrawing's up here now. That's how, that's you've seen the whole process. Right. Other exercises for people. We draw a box down. And hey, you see how this will help you with stuff like this? It's a boxed donut. Like, this stuff just gets so much easier. Like, this stuff is like child's play in comparison. It's like nothing, right? If you lift the heavy weights, then the light weights become nothing. The light weights become lightweight. Lightweight, yo! Get good, scrub! Right? So now I can really control this. But remember the Bruce Lee thing, right? You got to practice one kick 10,000 times. I think 10,000 is a bit of an exaggeration, but I mean, there's nothing that says that, you couldn't just keep practicing the same kick and get, like, develop that kick into a really, really strong technique. And then here, another variant. And the thing is that the amount of variation, it's limitless. You can always stack on more complexity. So here's the next variation. We take these cubes. This is just the scaffolding. This is the concept. Remember how I would always draw things, how I drew that donut in blue, and I showed you the concept? Same thing. Okay, just showing you the concept of what you're going to have to stick in your brain and remember. So 5-way boxes. Okay, That's the mental concept. Now I'm going to go and blue this thing up and show you remember, this line has to correlate to that line up there. And then raise the blue line. That's all that's left. That's the bare minimum information that you need to make this thing read. All right, because I know you guys want to get to the point where you're drawing without an underdrawing, but you have to know how much information must be left behind for people to be able to grasp the shape that's there, right? So let's do it. Yeah, let's start new page. So again, here we go. We go up, over, out, down. Now I'm on the back. Now I'm on the back of this thing. Down, in. Now I'm on the front side. Done. Now we go down here and we correlate, meaning we correlate this line to that line. Correlate again to co-relate. You know, there's a relationship. It's a correlation. Correlation. All right. Ta-da! Right. That could probably be a little better. Now, again, except this time, I'm gonna blue this thing. We're gonna go going up, then over, then out, then down, then out, over, down, in, down, over, up, out, up, then in. Right? So, again, let's blue it. Okay. Oh, I can tell this is going to be hard. So I'm going to go outwards this way instead, then down, over, down, back. Okay. Now I have to correlate to here. This is why it's tricky. You wanted to get to that point where you're drawing without a guideline. This is it. This is what you got to do. This is the mental weightlifting. The mental brute force that's required. Because this is it. This is drawing form, drawing three-dimensional form with no underdrawing. But if you can't pull it off with something as simple as this, if I'm giving you a simple job, that's the whole thing about an exercise. Exercises are simple. The execution might not be simple, but if you can't do a simple job, then you're not ready for the more complex one. You're just not ready yet. All right, my brain is my brain is shorting out right now. I need to draw some of the I need an underdrawing, right? So I need to draw some of the internal lines just because if you can't visualize it, then fine, just break down and draw the stuff that you can't do. Just draw it anyway, right? It's better to at least make some progress and get a mental picture of it. All right, so again, let's do another one. Oh, variant. Let's do another variant. That's how you get better, as you work out the variant. So in this case, I'm going to use spherical placeholders. Remember these guys? 3 apples tall. Yeah, 3 apples wide. 3 apples deep. Let's blew it. Okay. Gotta correlate. Correlate the bottom to the top. So I'm... Oh, crap. Forgot this guy here. Yeah. So it gets harder, right? This is the inner line that you don't draw. We're only drawing overlap lines. You can see that there's like, it's like a group of 3 cubes kind of jammed together and another 3 cubes. Really good. Teaches this, trains your extrusion ability, the ability to extrude form out. Looks like ha 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 boobies, ha ha ha. Okay. All right, looks like a butt. Give it a G string. Look. If you're gonna do, like, if you want to draw porn, okay, you're gonna have to really like rank up your 3D drawing abilities. Seriously, it will help you. It will help you a lot because you're gonna have to draw a lot of extruded forms and intruded forms, and deal with. There's a lot of physical contact in porn. A lot of physical contact in porn, and hey, if that incentivizes you to get better at drawing, well, then do it. Just do these exercises. Whatever it takes to make you get better at drawing, to get you off your ass and stop playing, video games all the time. I'm not saying that video games are bad. It's just if that's all you do, and you're not making anything of yourself, then here, this is a game. Okay, look, this is another video game. Think of this as a mini game. It's like a cell phone game. That better. You actually make progress. You actually make something of yourself. Right? So what else we got? This was one that I dreamt up. That was really, really. Oh. Okay, sure. Here, I'll show you the one that I dreamt up. Maybe I have no idea. The first time doing it on camera, or actually ever. Take a box. All right, let's subdivide. Like a Rubik's Cube. All right, I'm gonna randomly number these. Oh, so 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 9, 2, 6, 5, 3, 5, 8, 9, 7, 9, 3, 2, 3, 8, 4, 6, 2, 6, 4, 3, 3, 8, 2, 7, 9, 3, 1, 4. You notice how I'm actually turning the letters. 1, 5, 9, 2, 6, 5, 3, 5, 8, 9, 7, 9, 3, 2, 3. Okay, good. Why all the numbers? Well, that one has to be out by 1 unit. Oh yeah, baby. We are doing this. This one has to be out by 4 units. So 1, 2, 3, 4 units. This one has to be out by 1 unit. This one has to be out by 3 units, so I got to go across. And down, and in, or across. Okay, good. That one can go down. Then that must correlate. Again, okay. This one, 9 units, so that one's out by 2 units. Will I even see it? 1, 2, maybe. Sure. So this one's out by 2 units, and that means that this guy, oh, but it's underneath, right? So, ease Louise. Okay. Wait, that one's number 4 here. That means that 2 units out would be half of that, which means that is what you see. In fact, I'm going to draw the number on it. So that would be 4. That's 1. That's 3. So if this one goes up by 3, that one goes up by 5. That means I just have to add on another 2 units. That one is 5 as well, so I extend it downwards. Oops. This one goes up by 9, so it actually has to go out by another 4 units. So I'm going to just visually estimate that one would be 9. This one is 7, so I have to go 2 units in. This one here is where the 7 is, so that guy correlates outwards over here. That one goes out by 3 units. We will not see it behind here. That one's 5 units, so it will be parallel. So there's a gap, then a parallel across, and the 5 is here. This one is also 9, so it will be parallel across. It's directly underneath, so and whoa, we are way off course, but that's oh, and it's down by 1. Dang it. Okay, so yeah, I have to do it like this. That one goes, there's the 5. Right. And then directly underneath it is the 9. Good bloody Lord. Okay. Right. So directly underneath it is the 9. Right. Holy crap. Holy crap, holy. All right, so there's 5. Then 8. 8 is right next to it, so that 8 has to go out by about 3 units this way. Then 6 units, so I have to go down by there. That's 6 right there. And that is going to be correlated like that. That's just one side, okay? It looks neat, doesn't it? It looks neat. It's an exercise. It's a game. It's a game. Games are fun, right? So, and it's a really smart game, I think. Pretty. So, then we do it this way. So we look at 9, right? So that'd be 1 unit right there. 2, 3, 4 goes right off the screen. That's fine. We go right off the screen here. 7 units. Well, let's see. To measure out 7 units, that whole Rubik's Cube that's 4 units, but still 7 goes off the screen as well. So that would be 4 units, right? Then we have this one goes up by 2 units, so we look at half the distance going up. You notice how this is going faster now. This one goes up by 9 units, so off the screen as well. Actually, wait, I don't know. That would be 4 units up, so I'm looking down here, going into the middle, going across, that's 4 units. Yeah, it goes right off the screen as well. Okay. to infinity and beyond. Same deal here. This one goes 5 units up. So that's 4 units up. Measure across, go up by 1 more block. There's our 5. Barely visible. Then our 1. So we look, measure across, there's our 1. Then we take our 4 block. So 4 block, as we look at the height, double it up. And let's finish it. This is getting easier. It's getting easier and easier. In fact, I'm just going to do this to me is the close row. This row is the closest one. That's probably the one I should do first. This is further, and that's further. So if we look at this thing, right? This is the close row. That's further, further, further. 4 units out. 1, 2, 4, bam. 4 units. Then we can see 4, then another 4. That gives us 8. That's 8 units out. This one's 3 units out. So there's 3 units in, 3 units out would probably be around here. And we can check this by doing a crossover. Right? So that's the crossover point. Close enough. Now wait. This one is 3 units, so not 4 units. This one's 3 units, so... Oh, actually, no, that's correct. Yeah, that is correct. So 3 units, 1, 2, 3. This one's out by 2 units, which makes it go out like that. Down, 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 boy, down. This one, also 4 units, so it shares an edge. This one out by 2 units, down we go. This one's down by 1 unit, out we go. And then, let's see, if that one's out by 1, that's 1 unit. Will we even see it? I don't know. But, like, this stuff got done in a jiffy, didn't it? So, you get the idea that I can't give you all the exercises. You're just gonna have to make them up on your own, and practice them. And this is you have to strengthen your own 3D drawing ability. And this is how you get stronger. And this stuff gets easier and easier as you go along. Okay. Anyway, this video is long enough. I'll talk to you all later.